welcome to the line. I'm here with Caleb Fetter. I'm saying your last name right.
Yep, Fetter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Caleb Fetter of RMS, based out of Lancaster, but also you have offices in Philadelphia now.
Yeah. We opened a design studio a couple years ago, and we're building out a showroom experience center.
Wow.
And production outpost in Wayne to be open later this year.
Wow. Well, and as you can see, we're sitting in their front office right now, and I've had a tour of their whole office. They do really, really cool stuff, for homeowners, high-end commercial, and their objective is to make things seamless and have a client experience that really makes you feel like you're taken care of. And so we want to talk about some of that today. And
cool.
Normally I start off with talking with people about, well, what are your origins? But I would like to ask you a question slightly different.
Sure.
And it's an origin related question. But what I really am curious about is, when people see RMS today and they look at it today, what do they misunderstand about the journey and what it took to get here?
Sure. I'll answer it in a different way, but so the biggest myth that we've ever had to dispel, and this sort of dawned on me the last couple of years, is that we're a technologically oriented company, right? Our origin was in technology and automation.
Yeah.
25 years ago. Our clients are not techie. They don't want another app. They may talk about voice control, but at the end of the day, they don't really care. And there's a cool application for that, especially if you have like limited mobility or.
When you guys started, did apps even exist?
No, it was 2001. The smartphone didn't exist.
Wow.
So, we started as a technology integration company, which that in and of itself, and I didn't start the company. A really great guy, still a friend of mine named Matt Early did. And the roots are in AV, and we're in the midst of rebranding our whole brand and message to experiencerms.com instead of rmsav.com. And I'll try to shorten the story as much as possible because you'll run out of memory in the cameras if I tell the whole thing. But, when Matt started this company, it wasn't as a derivative of like a retail showroom that did like car audio.
Right.
And, there are plenty of companies that did, and there's nothing wrong with that business model, but this was...
Except a lot of them don't exist anymore.
The times they are a-changing. We were bespoke, we were personalized, and we were a trade right out of the gate. Now, we weren't as like machismo as a real electrician by trade, but we had installers, and we would meet with a client, a builder, and a designer, or whomever was making decisions, and we would craft a bespoke solution. And then we would install it. We went onto job sites, and we're drilling holes, and we're pulling wires, and we're installing conduits. And, and that was very atypical for a tech company.
Yeah.
It's still uncommon, but 25 years ago, it was like space travel.
Yeah.
So, along the way, it typically is an enthusiast-based industry. There are people that are into this stuff. I want to go to the hi-fi store and buy tech. We've never, we have people, it varies, right? It's a scale, but 99% of our clients, especially now that tech is kind of ubiquitous, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
They don't want less of it. They want to be burdened less by it because we still need it. Buildings are more complex now than they ever have been. And so the biggest myth, like what do we have to unwind, is that we think our clients are techie because we definitively know they are not.
I think that's something that's really good to acknowledge, not even in just the techie side of things, but in the trades in general. I remember one time a guy gave me a piece of advice, and I was getting really frustrated with a client, which you never do, obviously.
Never happens. Nope.
But and he said to me, he goes, listen, they are building the most expensive thing that they will probably build in their entire lifetime. And this is something that you've been involved in building, this one and this one and this one, and this is old hat to you. This is the newest, most stressful thing to them that they've ever done.
Right.
And they have no idea the process that you are so familiar with.
Correct.
And I think that's some of what you're talking about, is just recognizing the importance of, we're here to serve and provide you an experience.
Right.
With you're almost like I heard a guy say this. You're almost like a docent
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A docent is a guide, and
Yes.
you're almost like
the words we use internally all the time is we are our client's advocate.
Yeah.
We are watching out for them. They have no idea what they don't know. And it's never in a position of, presenting that you're smarter than they are, or you're more knowledgeable, and you're.
Well, I was totally trying to do that with the word docent by dropping that out there.
Well, but it's different, right? I mean, if you're an alchemist, if you're the advocate, right? It's like, look, we're going to grab you by the shoulders and just kind of usher you through this labyrinth of misinformation, inadequate process.
What an articulate way to say it.
Well, I've been working on this for a while, 25 years, in fact. So I never used to be able to explain it this articulate. And, later on there, you hinted that there's a question of, give us the inside scoop on your biggest mistake. And it's really hard to pick from all of them. One of the ones was listening to people for a decade go, I just want something simple.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm going, yeah, but your 10,000 square foot residence is anything but. And so if we don't apply some complexity, you're going to be the decision engine, and that's going to suck when you have 400 light switches. And so, it took me 10 years to finally listen and go, okay, I get it. I'm thinking you want more tech and gadgets and Bluetooth and all this garbage. And I know you don't want that, but I'm not communicating that to you.
How do you, and I want to be careful not to talk too much about the tech, but it is very fascinating. But how do you, when you're doing that for a client, like you threw out a number of switches, and I know I've been involved and seen some of the things that you guys do,
right?
And being in the trades and in construction, and having been an electrician by trade, your sphere is overtaking the trade. I mean,
it's funny because we started as a tech company.
Yeah.
It's interesting when people say, what do you do? And you have to give them one sentence, which historically is almost, well, if you're a painter, you can be like, I paint things. It doesn't matter whether you paint cars or you paint buildings or you paint stripes on the road. That's pretty easy for people to understand.
Yeah.
If we're like, hey, we're tech integrators, people just sort of stare into the middle distance and like have no idea what you do. Our answer now is we are electricians. That's the first one I give. We're electricians, lighting specialists, and technology integrators.
So having been an electrician, let me just clarify for those of you who are listening, there are like 800 different types of electrician out there, from lineman to, commercial electrician to, and I think you guys are creating a whole new segment of electrician. And this is why I would say that. Years ago, when I would be involved in a trade, you would have the AV team. Years ago, literally was just in a meeting today where there's an AV guy trying to work with an electrical contractor. And you guys have merged the two together.
We've completely, and it is not overnight. And I'll make the story short, but
that's his first line.
It has always been an organic response to solving the problem.
Come on.
It's not like I woke up yesterday, and I don't know if that's buzzwordy, but it's not. I'm not trying to use buzzwords, but
I don't think you are.
It was so I didn't start the company. I worked for the founder. I actually left the industry for about 3 years. Some people don't know that. I sort of found the tech world a little pithy, a little like, this is a little lather, rinse, repeat. This kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Matt and I agreed when I came back, and it was with a handshake agreement to take ownership one day, and I accomplished that in 2013. And we built a new showroom at that time, and I was very fortunate enough to understand that LED lighting technology was emerging, and we needed to master it very quickly if we were going to be at all successful. Yeah. So we mastered lighting controls, or lighting and the control side, knowing that it's not just a 2-wire with a ground anymore. We've got digitally controlled lighting with Dolly and 0 to 10, and I found ourselves on projects. We did a large architectural firm that they're still our client today, but in 2011, and I'm standing out with the electrician explaining how to hook it up, what wires need to be ran. And this was a fully engineered, stamped, big service 3-phase. And I'm standing there going, I'm the speaker guy. Why am I talking to a team of electricians?
Yeah.
And there's no shade at the electricians. The process for them to learn that is inadequate.
Well, and any real electrician knows that. I mean, my goodness, you have to learn the different aspects. The work that a lineman does is different than the work that a commercial electrician does. The work that a residential electrician is different than a commercial electrician. Yeah,
none of this is, again, to throw any shade. But what I've been observing over the last real 15 years is there's like a turf war between the high volt and the low volt guy, like whatever you want to pin it.
Oh yeah,
and we see it in NEC revisions and
Oh,
you know,
I
oh,
believe
you
it.
have to have inspections above 48 volts in certain municipalities. And it's like, well, that's a turf grab for POE, right? And so I said, look, I'd rather just be on both sides of the battle or on the both sides of the war because it results in a better outcome.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for like fear of getting cut out. Most of what we do is the project wise is it's design build or it's a curated design. It's not a hard bid,
Right.
but it really is. Every time we get done with a project, it's like, man, we just kept running into problems here. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to wire that 3-way differently when you use a control system because the dimmer lives in a different spot. And yeah, these light switches have neutrals and we were always the ones to read the instruction manuals. And candidly, be able to charge enough on the project to slow down a little bit. And that's one of the big kind of setups of where we know we're going is slowing down and training and developing a workforce of people that understand what they're doing at an incredibly high level of craft. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean for the long-winded diatribe.
Oh, dude, I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this. I really do.
I mean, I guess we are recording this to hear me talk. So,
Well, yeah.
and you.
No one, no. They asked me to ask questions, and they want to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
So you talk a lot. I checked you out online, and you do post consistently. And which kudos to you. A lot of guys in the industry are like, I don't have time for this, but the reality is you got to get your voice out there. And I would say the cadence that I hear from you and a word that I hear from you a lot is trust. So I'm curious from you, like when you're talking about that word trust, what's the deal? Why are you using that so much in the way that you're talking?
So, well, it's the bedrock. I mean, it's kind of the bedrock of coexistence, isn't it? And I just made that up on the fly, but I'm going to trademark that sucker.
Bedrock of coexistence.
Yeah. I had a mentor in about 2019. So our company grew a lot. I had no business plan. I didn't go to college. I just I've been winging it the whole time and learning along the way. And our company kind of stagnated in the late 20-teens. We kind of plateaued. I didn't have a good plan in place for leadership. I didn't know how to do my job when we got to that big. And this is the largest company I've ever worked for, which is kind of crazy to think about too. But anyway, he's like, well, what's your vision statement? Like, what's the why? And I'm like, I didn't even know what a vision statement was. Yeah. And the first one I looked up was the American Cancer Center, which is like, we envision the world without the pains of cancer or something. And I'm like, I have to come up with that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, come on. This is good.
So this had really happened. I still have the emails. And I was like, okay, I'll read a couple books. I read the E-Myth, which is a really cool book. And kind of woke me up to me stepping into a different role of leadership and understanding what my new job was when we had a certain head count. And I said, well, we're already in business. It's not like I'm starting something new. We've been around for 20 years at that point, or 18 years or whatever it was. And enough years under my ownership, we had kind of morphed into the new version of what it was.
Right.
And so I sent out an email to the team and I said, this is mandatory participation, but do not reply all. In a word, a sentence, or a paragraph, who are we? What do we stand for? And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to hit send and I'm going to get some real answers back because my team does not mince words or hold back. And what came back to me was like the most cool, everybody's response was different. Some people sent 2 words back. Some people wrote 2 paragraphs. And when I just dumped it all out on the table, it was literally what became our vision statement, which is we build longstanding relationships with our clients by being the most trustworthy company they ever do business with.
Come on.
And it was a result of what we had been doing for 20 years. We just didn't quantify it. We couldn't describe it succinctly. And all of a sudden I sort of zoomed out and I'm like, we have clients who trust us with keys to their homes. These are multi-million-dollar homes. And they literally are like, come out, fix it. If it's billable, send us a bill. If it's not, don't. We trust you. And I'm like, holy cow, this is, because what we do, most people that we serve don't really want to know how it gets made. It's just that it gets made. Why
do you think?
But in the tech, if you introduce tech, it's like, whoa, this is like pixie dust and witchcraft. And so you have to build trust so that you can even, sell anything.
Well, you talk about building trust.
Yeah.
Do you remember a situation maybe where someone gave you trust before you deserved it?
Almost every. I mean, if you imposter syndrome's real. I mean, I remember sitting in a couple projects, and in real time, I'm like, why on earth why am I so fortunate to be able to sit at this table?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they really trust us, I guess. We better not screw it up. And you and I've had some conversations over the years of things that almost did get screwed up. And
We have.
And we came out the other side and learned a whole lot and, that kind of thing. But it really was a lot of times we sit in situations that sort of shape us into who we need to become. And there's been a lot of that over the last 13 years of owning this place.
All right, let's go a little deeper here.
All right. Man, that wasn't deep enough.
Well, I'll go as deep as you can.
Sure.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've broken someone's trust?
Maybe not past the point of repair. But we make mistakes. I mean, I made a lot today. I mean, I don't know what they are yet, but I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes today.
How do you handle that when you realize that? Like, what is the process?
Step right into it. You square up to it 100%.
What does that look like for Caleb?
Well, I guess it would depend on what the trust. It really wasn't trust. It's maybe mistakes, oversights. If we're talking on a project, it could be budget overruns. We knock on wood, and this may sound like smoke, but it's not. We've never missed the mark for our clients. We may take it on the chin as a company and really hemorrhage, profitability, labor overages, material misquoting. We make mistakes like that regularly. The reason we're branding to Experience RMS is the whole experience that a client has working with us. And now it's really our build partners. Like they're a part of that experience. Yeah. We want to be good business and build partners for our contractors and architects and designers while we're serving the client. Yeah. And so, I've always taken a long scope on everything. There's been certainly times where cash flow is super tight. I'm like, I don't care. We still got to not charge for that change order because it was totally on us. Yeah. But we've never missed the mark as a company on a project. Yeah. Like ever.
What's the secret to maintaining that trust and not missing that mark throughout the project? Like, does communication play a role there?
So yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated daily, but it's just because I'm kind of an old guy now. But I've now reached the get off my lawn stage of my life. But people drive either too fast or too slow, but communication's everything. And I often get frustrated at just the lack of communication, particularly on complicated residential projects, because the fastidiousness, the minutia that gets scrutinized on a residential project is enormous, especially when you're talking high net worth clients and high cost builds. You start getting into $1,000 a square foot, $1,500 a square foot. You better be on point. Yeah. And so, communication is everything, but just unabashed honesty when something goes sideways. Step square up to it. Hey, we missed the mark on this.
So I want to just step back and I want to ask you a question about technology, but before I do that, let's just kind of break it up a little bit here. And I want to ask you, what's a tool or a piece of gear that you can't live without? When you're walking out of the house, you're like, I got to have that.
It's funny. I mean, in my position, that's a very different tool than it used to be.
Yeah. So it's changing.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm still in design consulting and I'm attempting to lead, or I lead the company, but I'm so not out working on projects. So my tools are a very different tool than maybe some of your listeners would expect. But we've built an internal tool that I don't want to speak too much about because I think it's our biggest competitive advantage, but it's a budgeting and estimating tool that has proven to be otherworldly accurate. And it's based off of data, and it is allowing us to step into projects very differently than, candidly, anybody that I'm aware of in the industry. So, but it's 25 years. That tool is 25 years of doing this.
Well, I mean, that comes back to something in the trades in general that we tend to, especially when we're young. You and I were both young once. Mm-hmm. We come into it and we do not understand the value of that experience. Mm-hmm. We don't understand the cost. Mm-hmm. Even as an entrepreneur and a businessman, the things that you've had to learn, somewhat probably painful. And if you're like me, the more painful, the more I need to know it, the more painful it needs to be.
Right.
I mean, I wish that I wasn't, but I'm really stupid. And I need to like have it beat into my face.
Yeah, sure.
To remember it.
Yep.
So you could have disagreed a little bit more with that.
No.
But that's okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, you and I've had honest just conversations over the years. I mean, it's amazing what you learn when something's going sideways.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, how could that have been avoided? How could we have circumvented that issue?
At what point did you realize you weren't selling technology?
It's 10, 12 years ago. I mean, I don't know. For me, and I got started at a different company that was much more of the stereotypical. It was an AV shop, right?
Yeah.
It was they're no longer in business. Imagine that. And meaning they didn't shift. They didn't evolve. They didn't change. We would get opportunities because people would come in because it was a known company for 30 years. And that's where you went to buy a plasma TV, and ask if you had to recharge it. And if you tip it over, does the plasma spill out? And those are real. Those are real questions I got a lot back when plasma TVs were a thing. Anyway, I always enjoyed the consultative part of it. So even then I was selling experiences. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
And so as our scopes have gotten larger, more complicated, and wider across multiple disciplines, it's still the same human-centric solution.
Yeah.
And so it's been a slow understanding. Like, it's not about the tech. It's not about the LED lighting. It's not about keypads. It's not about the Romex. It's not about any of that. It's presenting an experience. Like the experience of living in your new home starts when you start designing your new home, not when you move in.
Yeah.
So can we present budgets that are real and decisionable, and then protect the intent of that project all the way through to when they move in?
I would think that when you comment about presenting budgets that are real, I would think that's a huge foundational piece in not only establishing trust, but maintaining it.
Well, yeah. And for us, we're in a really unique position where we, when I say electricians, we have master's electricians that are on payroll.
Yeah.
We didn't take the speaker guy and give him a bright green t-shirt.
Right.
Right. So we had my business partner now, Grant, was a young Thaddeus Stevens graduate, electrical program.
Great program.
Went out into solar, pretty traditional arc if you don't then go into like commercial or industrial.
Right.
And worked for a independently owned, residentially, but kind of do whatever job you can do to stay busy electrician for a long time. And he was great to work with because he would just collaborate. He would communicate with a good attitude. Like, you could approach him and you could have a conversation. You could solve problems without just this like, dude, I shouldn't have to beat you over the brow to rewire a three-way differently. Just weird stuff. Yeah. But we have real electricians, we have technicians, but the difference is every system we design and install since 2012, we are still connected to using the technology. And that's now spilling into everything: generators, power storage units. And we have a ethically monetized recurring revenue, but support that our clients pay us every year to stay connected to their system with our own internal team. We don't outsource any of it. And so
that's huge.
It's pretty remarkable. What's cool is we get the long view on every project we've created.
So you're not selling technology, you're selling peace of mind to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds so cheeky. Like, I roll my eyes every time we come to that conclusion because it's on every brochure that they actually don't do that. It's just marketing crap. We actually do the thing that we do, like, for real, every time. It's not negotiable here.
Well, I think that's the major difference between transactional relationship and real relationship.
We want it forever.
Yeah.
And we want to be in that home forever. We want the problems because we love solving them.
Yeah.
But now, we're a Generac dealer, no shout out. It's a good company, but you can buy a Generac now with a Wi-Fi module, right?
It's crazy.
Who engineers the Wi-Fi for 15 feet off of the end of the detached garage?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Come on.
It's in our plan set. It's not a change order. We're like, oh, you need a generator. We know that's going to connect into our network. We're going to set up all the cybersecurity provisions to ensure that it's safe from a network standpoint and wire in the line voltage side. It's one scope.
So let's be real. Do you ever get pushback from a client? Because to do that, you have to give a pretty well-rounded and qualified price. Mm-hmm. Do you ever get pushback?
Yeah, absolutely.
What does that look like, and how do you respond?
It's all about education, right? Slowing things down. Our successful projects are ones in which we're working with let's just say a build partner.
Yeah.
And a design partner, whether it's the same company, design build, or whether it's an architect and a contractor. We don't really care.
Yeah.
We have to have a front row seat to the client. We have to understand intent, because if we try to sell, okay, we do lighting controls that you can control lights from your phone, everybody unanimously is going to go, no thanks.
Yeah.
Because that sucks.
Yeah.
You can do it, but that's not really what they want.
Right.
So our successful projects, first and foremost, we have to be with partners who allow us to step into the conversation to educate the client, empower them to make good decisions. And then if they're still like, absolutely not, we don't force a square peg into the round hole. But once we really explain to them what it is, unanimously, they're like, oh yeah, we probably ought to consider that.
Have you ever had a situation where you explain that to a client, they say no, and 6 months later they're like, I want that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
It depends on kind of where we're at in the build process.
Yeah.
There's almost everything we do now is retrofittable in some capacity. There are a few trade-offs, but for the most part, it's not at the expense of functionality or reliability anymore. So it would depend on where we're at on the build. We don't even have currently like change order fees. Like maybe we should. Maybe that's a whole nother podcast episode.
No,
we flip the script. I interview you on all the stupid stuff I've been doing. Look, we play long. I don't want the job. I want the relationship with the client. And so we're a sub, we're a trade. Our contracts now go to the contractor as a subcontract. We want to be a good business partner for them. That's their profit center. They make money from that. But it's all still in service of the homeowner, or if it's a resi project. But we treat commercial no different. We have plenty of restaurants and architects' buildings and all that stuff that are clients of ours.
I chuckle when you say, change order fee, and you talk about that, not because you're doing it wrong, but because I believe that if you are looking at a project, the whole thing, and especially I have some experience and come from the design build side of things. Mm-hmm. The reason that I love design build is you can manage budgets and you can look at things. And when you're the one that's doing the work, you understand the things that aren't seen.
Correct.
And so it's like, if you do your job right, there shouldn't be change orders.
Correct.
And anybody that says, I once heard a guy talk, and he was like,
well, in resi, you just have change orders.
Well, but I mean, that's because they change your mind.
Yeah. Well, and you're like, it's so unregulated, right?
Yeah.
Electrical services and residences in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're actually on a project in Montana right now, and because of licensure, we're not going to be doing line voltage work there.
Right.
But we are designing the entirety of the electrical system.
Wow.
We will be construction managing it.
Wow.
Yeah, out in Flathead in
That's
Montana.
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't suck.
We should be doing a podcast out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I would have flown out there.
It's just getting started. So it'll be the next 14 months or so.
Oh, wow.
But, the whole change order concept is like in residential construction, there is no process. And this is where, like, coming back to something I said 20 minutes ago, this is no shade at the electrician or even the technician.
Right.
There is no unified clarity on scope.
Yeah.
What is the point of truth? What is the source of truth on a project? Who's right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, well, the person that understands the intent is who's right. And so we've had to create a whole engineering division within the company. We don't stamp plans. That's not what it's for. It's to understand intent and then to build budgets that are actually accurate, not surprises.
Yeah. I think, that's one big way to maintain trust too, is to not surprise people.
No surprises. We say it all the time. Yeah. Like, look, no surprises.
And you did say this in the beginning, when there is a mistake or when there is an issue, you step into it right
100%.
away.
100%. Yep.
And great advice I got from an old timer once was don't delay.
Yeah.
If you know something's wrong, run to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just, it typically is going to fester.
Yeah.
And even for us as business owners, it's like, let's get through this one.
Yeah.
It just came to pass. So let's get it past us and move on and go on to the next thing. So.
I don't think it matters what aspect of construction or even business that you're in. And I combine the two to say this: in construction, you're always birthing something out of the ground. Mm-hmm. You are going to have problems. Things are going to go wrong. Mm-hmm. Business is the same thing.
Embrace the suck, as they say.
Embrace the suck. you know, or try to suck less.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think what really makes a good leader and a good CEO, president, guy piloting the ship, so to speak. I think I probably combined narratives there. I don't know if you pilot a ship, but
yeah, that's all right. In our world, you can. In our little world,
yeah. I think that what makes a good person at doing that is someone who can face those things not only every day but multiple times a day. My wife has asked me. She goes, "I talked with you in the morning, and you were great. You were having a great day, and then you come home and you should go back to work." Like, and the reality is, because, you know, it's like this happens, and I think what makes a good leader sometimes is the person who can face that and not let it affect all the people around them.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, again, I've rounded the corner, and I've always been. My wife would say passionate. That's the PR friendly way to say I'm pretty grumpy. Passionate. I observe a lot. I'm like hyper aware of the world. You know, I notice everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of those things I've worked on, I heard, you know, but you have to be a perpetual optimist.
Yeah, you do.
You know, and it's not like just, oh, my glasses have full optimism. It is like resilient optimism.
Yeah.
We're going to figure this out. We're going to keep going. You just keep going.
I believe they call that resolve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, resolve.
But it's the demeanor in which you do it that I'm working pretty hard on. Like, you know, let's not be so grumpy all the time.
Well, you know, it's an interesting segue. I think something just to kind of maybe shift into culture a little bit.
Sure.
And you talk more about your people online than you do about your projects. And that's pretty obvious. And you and I have talked off camera.
No AI written captions, by the way. They're all me. I promise you. I swear to God.
I believe you. And but I mean, you and I have talked over the years, and you really value your people. You really value your culture. And I happen to know personally that you've really invested and put your money where your mouth is in building that. What is it that you're looking for in people to have that culture?
I mean, what I look for, I mean, you know, attitude, humility. You know, when we hire new people, part of our interview is Patrick Lencioni wrote a book, right? You know, I'm sure, you know, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
Oh, yeah, it's a great book.
Ideal Team Player.
My favorite right there.
Humble, Hungry, and Smart
is
part of the interview here.
Yeah, come
on. And, you know, we just had some people recently start. That book is a gift. It's mandatory reading on day 1.
Yeah.
And so
anybody on my team that's listening that has like whined and complained about our mandatory reading, other people do it.
It's a fable, for crying out loud. It's like 200 pages. No, I mean, I've all of this is done very organically and very in the moment, and all of this has come from failure. We grew 172% over a 3-year period a few years ago.
Wow, that sounds
without an org chart.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the correct response for that. It sucked. Oh. Now, we made the Inc. 5000 list, and that didn't suck.
Yeah,
I mean, well, it kind of did, because you just get marketed to on LinkedIn for the next 12 months, but it was awful. We survived it, but, you know, culture, we had a good culture with people that liked it. Our projects didn't suffer because of it. We had enough good people that salvaged things that maybe did go sideways.
Wow.
But I had to endure that. And I lost friends, people that I've known for 20, 25 years that I don't talk to anymore.
I've been there.
So, you know, all that stuff just came out of that. And it's like, okay, we have to structure this. We actually have to work on this. So if I send somebody to a manufacturer training, I'm investing in them to learn that. But you have to, it has to be top of mind to invest in your people from a culture standpoint.
Yeah.
And you have to set the expectation.
Yeah.
Not in a way that feels like oppressive or controlling. It's like, look, we're going to be together more than maybe your spouse.
Yeah.
So we got to define this, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it.
Yeah.
So we worked on it, and I think we've improved that a good deal. But you kind of never stop improving that part. But
I think one of the things that is really interesting to me, and you talk about what you had to endure, exponential growth. I think that's one of the hardest things that I've experienced is when you experience growth, how some people are going to grow with you and some people are going to be left behind. I heard an analogy.
But when you read the book and I'm a very literal person.
Yeah.
Like I can dream aspirational dreams, but I'm a very literal, like, what does that look like in the day to day?
Yeah.
I now know what that looks like in the day to day, and it sucks.
It does.
It sucks. It hurts.
It does. Well, and if you're like me, my problem is I'm a very visionary guy.
Yeah, same.
And so no matter who you are, no matter if it's your first day or whatever, I look at this person and part of it, I feel responsible to do this. And I start to envision where they are in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the shortest thought process that I have is 5 years. My kids think I'm weird because I think in 5, 10, and 25
I live in
years.
the future.
Yeah. But the reality is they might not be here in 5 years.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean that that's wrong either.
Right.
The best analogy I think I ever heard, and you have to believe that we've been to outer space for this one to work, but the space shuttle, when you and I were younger, it's a little different now.
A little bit.
But when you and I were younger, it had boosters on it.
Yep.
That helped get the shuttle out of the atmosphere.
Yep.
What happens to the boosters
They
before
fall off.
they fall off? So that the shuttle can continue to go into the atmosphere.
Yep.
And I think that helped me. Someone shared that with me once when I was really struggling with some friends that were no longer in my life.
Yep.
And I had to decide, well, am I going to the atmosphere? Yeah, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
And it's not a cold thing, and it's nothing against them.
Right. But if you're a people person too. So
that makes it worse.
That's the it hurts part.
Oh, it does.
It does. But clear is kind and all these things that I kind of now know what they mean. I didn't know back then.
Yeah.
And you were talking a little bit about the team, all of that is absolutely genuine. We have phenomenal people here and they have bailed my ass out more times than you can imagine.
Yeah.
Not because I told them to, but because they believed in what we were doing. And when you can enable a team and like give them agency to kind of push you out of the way in service of the mission, and that's it. I've never had to ask people to do that. We just have people here who believe.
That's huge.
I know, and I didn't teach them how to do that. I didn't ask them to do that. We didn't have a company manual. They just did it, and that's been a cool thing for me. So for me to toot the horn a little bit for the people that we have working here, I mean, that's the it.
Doesn't that make it in leading an organization, which can be very lonely, when you have a team like that and you have people like that, and you keep using the word hurt, and I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't mind being vulnerable a little bit.
When it hurts, doesn't a team like that make it hurt a little less?
Oh, definitively.
And then makes it easier to get through the hurt.
To like step in and see the work they did.
Yeah.
And no, not just the work of like, oh, you installed something well or correct, but like the work it took to defend what that work needed to be.
Yeah.
And to have a project manager step in and be like, nope, we are not cutting this corner.
Yeah.
That is our client. They are paying us very good money and you're not going to do that to them.
Yeah.
To get to do that, but to watch a team of people do that.
Yeah.
And come back and get fired up. I mean, I had two guys a couple years ago kind of go at each other and I had to stop them. I was like, look, firstly, I'm not going to lie. I love that you're both pissed off because it means that you care.
Yeah.
Take a breath if you need to take like 10 minutes and then let's come back to this and fix this.
Yeah.
Like not fix the conversation, but like figure out what you guys are on opposite ends of the spectrum. But I don't mind those passionate disagreements as long as it stays above belt. But yeah, I mean, and not like we have people doing that often, but it happens.
Black line, we don't care if it goes below the belt.
Yeah.
It's all about who survives.
Yeah. One pool cue, two entered, one will leave. But we talked about training. I mean, one of the things that we've been working really hard here, to maybe shift it a little bit, because I know this is something that you and I wanted to be able to talk about is, in commercial, large scale electrical, we're seeing billboards about big industrial data centers and, come out and make, $700 million a year doing line work. And maybe it might be less than that, but a little bit less.
You are plucking at my heartstrings here.
And that's wonderful and that's great. Yeah. And we are 100% about having the light shine on trades and skilled trades and work and people that are out there building things and sweating and getting dirt on them. And we love that. But maybe big nomadic career of data centers isn't a great career path for somebody.
Come on.
And, so one of the things that we're doing, I think that's very different, that's hard for people to understand is my senior programmer has been here for 24 years.
Wow.
We've trained him. We've invested in him. We've gotten into arguments. I mean, but he's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I've got one of my site supervisors just got his 10-year certificate last year.
Wow.
We have good benefits. We have retirement plans. But we do predominantly residential electrical work, which that flies counter to what people would expect.
Yeah.
And there's no shade being thrown here. Most of those electricians are typically smaller organizations, which is great.
Yeah.
They don't have enough time to slow down, right? They've just got to be busy.
Yeah.
And so things like annual performance evaluations.
Yeah.
How about pay increases while having to beg and plead for them for 3 years?
Right. Come on.
So we do all of that here, but we're still just electricians doing, but we're electricians doing residential work. So we are really understanding that the projects we are on require training and development.
Yeah, they do.
Even though the code doesn't,
Right.
so to speak, or the permits, the permitting and inspection process, they don't really care in most municipalities. So one of the things that we're doing here that's very innovative is upstairs in the building we're in, and I showed this to you, is we built a training simulation lab, and it's small, but the idea that we can work with a Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology, if you're listening, call me, and talk about, well, let's update curriculum to be 2026 and forward looking.
Come on.
Let's make sure we have, men and women coming through the program that are, they've got good attitudes, they've got a good basis of knowledge, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
And we will fly you to Indiana to get hands-on further training on anything we need to, Generac training, So we are investing in our team, and this is why I talk about our team so darn much. They are mighty because they are smart and they're equipped and they're allowed to do their job. But we're just starting to scratch, like break through that barrier to be able to explain to people this can be a lifelong career.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a project in Montana, but that we don't do that all the time. It's mostly central and eastern Pennsylvania, and
Right.
you can build a family or raise a family and.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing with social media right now that people need to realize is they're out there posting the 6-figure.
It's the clickbait headline.
Exactly. And it's like, hey, while that is great, there is more to a career than what you can get right now.
Yeah.
And when you talk about a team and the different benefits and the things that you're bringing in there, that guy's been with you for 24 years. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that someone is there for 24 years. And take it from someone who has made that money that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I did that for a little while I was young. They weren't data centers, but
sure,
it wasn't worth what I had to put up with to do it.
Yep.
And maybe you're out there and it is, but it wasn't for me. And there are
well, that's just
people.
it. There are options for people, right? And it's interesting. I was talking to the producer of another podcast that is a very bright light on the trades, and I was explaining to that producer, and I wasn't ever on that podcast, but Chuck, if you ever listen, I still would like to be on there. But we were having this conversation, and I'm like, look, that's awesome, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And, really a good living wage and a good work environment and good benefits, not just healthcare for the sake of checking the box.
That's right. Yeah.
Healthcare that you can wrap around your family.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you say that.
It's so expensive. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it. And, when everybody loves to just throw shade on their younger generations, right? Kids these days, they don't know how hard they, could have had it and all.
You
this
did start
crap.
the podcast with saying you're the guy that's saying stay off my grass. So.
Yeah, but think about the jobs if they want to enter in. Let's say just being a residential electrician at a 3-person shop.
Yeah,
that culture sucks.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to beg for a comp adjustment. You shouldn't have to beg to be trained to be better at your job.
Agreed.
But that's what that world is.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Yeah. So you can't throw shade and say, well, millennials don't work hard. No, they want to be respected and valued and invested in and given a roadmap of where they could go.
Well, and if you provide the opportunity,
go in the field for 10 years and then come in and be in the engineering department.
Yeah.
We'll train you up in CAD and Revit and 3D modeling and VR walkthroughs. And that's the stuff we do on a daily basis. So we have guys that have been here 2 years that are like, I think that could be a future engineer. Let's maybe talk about investing in CAD training.
There's that visionary stuff again.
Yeah. Long scope, man. You got to take the long vision.
Well, I know you have other things to do and places to be because you're a fast moving guy, but I did tell you there's one question that I ask everybody.
Sure.
What is something that you wish you would have done differently? What's a mistake that you've made that you would be willing to share with our listeners that you've learned from? That
I don't make mistakes, Joshua. They're only learning opportunities.
Bullshit. Sorry.
So what we're doing, this is a real answer. It's not a one sentence answer, but it's a real answer.
That's all right. I want a real answer.
I've been, end of last year is really where the biggest version of our go-to-market strategy for our projects really gelled.
Yeah.
But we brought electrical in-house in 2019. So I'm a pretty slow learner. But I've been dreaming of this day and working on this day for 10 years. We had a first opportunity to bring electrical in-house in 2015. And thankfully it didn't work out. And you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was interesting to me, and along the way, Grant Lehman is my partner. He's the electrician that we acquired his small firm and folded it in. And I thought everybody saw the future the way I did. I'm envisioning this idea where we're brought in as design consultants on these really big projects, and then we develop a scope, and then we're the people that do all of the install work, and then it moves into forever support that's monetized. And it didn't really click until like last year. And even with my partners, they're like, what are you talking about? What is this thing? Like, when is this going to actually work? Because in the moment, it's failure. It's the job you didn't get.
Yeah.
It's the project. You're like, nope, this is the one, man. This is going to work. And then you advance the ball a little bit. And then all of a sudden you have to come back and be like, oh yeah, that one went up in flames too.
Yeah.
And so, I would say, what was the biggest mistake? It was assuming that they saw the future the way I did and me not communicating it thoroughly and appropriately. So, that's a real answer. And that's, I read books, they always tell you to fail fast, figure out what doesn't work.
That's right. Yeah.
Failing fast sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's failure. It's cash flow problems, and it's having to lay people off. And that's
been there, done that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But that's what that looks like. And it's like, okay, well, that version didn't work, but if I tweak this thing, and that's that like resilient optimism thing of like, but I know that's out there. What if we tweak these things, then maybe it'll work this time.
So when you talk about that failure and you talk about how painful it is and that learning experience, what is it inside you, specifically you, Caleb, that makes you not give up, not quit? Because like you've said this a couple of times and brushed past it, but he's used the word cash flow problems. They suck. And if you are in business, you will experience it someday. Mm-hmm. And that's the only way that I know that you learn to not have them in the future. But the other thing is, I don't know that they're ever avoidable. Sometimes things happen and you experience them and you might have done everything right.
Yeah.
And you
still have them.
And you still have them. How do you keep going?
Well, I do. I have an incredibly supportive family. First and foremost, incredible wife. We have a wonderful marriage of 24 years. A couple daughters that keep us busy who are just remarkable human beings, and we're very proud of them. But
that's awesome.
The thing I'm working on to maintain optimism, because like the first 2 decades, you're just full of vision and testosterone and stupidity, right? We're just a couple of dumb
in that order.
I'm just a dumb dude I just keep showing up. Maintaining it and sustaining it for what's the next window of time? 5, 15, 20 years, I don't know. And I'm trying to learn. Michael J. Fox said something a couple years ago that floored me, and I'm still working on it. But with gratitude, optimism is sustainable.
Ooh.
I saw somebody that had that tattooed on their arm one time, and I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
And I knew exactly what that was. But think about it from his perspective, Parkinson's and his perspective.
Wow.
So that's the one I'm working on, is like having gratitude for the things that I now have. So, and I don't mean things, but like the life I get to lead now.
Wow.
So that's the thing that's going to keep fuel in the tank for the next however many years I'm going to keep doing this. How was that for an answer?
That is a great answer. And I think that's a great way to segue out that, gratitude fuels optimism. Mm-hmm. And you have to have optimism Otherwise, you're going to go through life and you're going to be miserable.
You just cry a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's really good. So if there are people listening to this, and we now know that your geographic area that you cover is the United States, and so
Going to New Hampshire next week for a project.
come on.
Yeah.
So if there are people out there and they're looking to understand technology in their home or their business or whatever it might be, where do they find you?
You mean like our credentials?
No, I mean like if they're listening to this right now
sure.
and they want to find RMS and they want to find Caleb,
Sure.
where do they find you?
ExperienceRMS.com.
Okay.
That's our website. We do have Instagram, LinkedIn, and we're now on TikTok. How progressive.
That is progressive. So am I, actually.
And we weren't. Just say I'm an old white dude that's not on TikTok, but the getting our message out. We are hiring. We are actively hiring engineering roles, lead electrician roles. Guys and gals, hopefully, that want to roll up their sleeves, go out and build incomprehensibly cool projects.
Come on.
I just sat in a job meeting today. All right, let me bait the hook.
Come on.
So we have a new project, and it's under NDA, and it's a very modest family of 4. They are the
You
thing.
do understand that the podcast goes on air and people listen, right?
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not going to describe it too in depth. But it is a new residence to be built. Okay. I just did our Copperfield with Grant to understand load calcs. It's going to be 1,000 amp electrical service.
Whoa.
For a house.
Whoa.
The backyard
Holy crap.
literally looks like Universal Studios theme park. Wow. There are like fire torches coming out of hot tubs. I'm not making any of this up. It's a new home that's going to be built somewhere in central Pennsylvania, and we are in the co-pilot seat designing all of it.
Wow.
From security cameras to where are 5 200 amp panels going to live in the house, where does service come in, 48 kW generator, lighting, controls, automation, motorized doors, motorized window shading. It is, and we get to do all of that. So like that's the work we do that's like pretty sexy, but it's real line work. We're going to be bending conduit, and we're going to be dropping Schedule 40 piping in trenches, and
Come on.
but we're also going to be programming that and meeting with the homeowner and saying, when you push this button, what do you want to have happen? The doors open and the shades open and it turns the water feature on. And it's that whole breadth of things that we get to do. So anybody's listening that sounds intriguing, it is cool as shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's, and it's a big contract. It's 2 years worth of work. Wow. I think we have 5,000 man hours currently.
That is a big contract. That's a lot of man hours.
It's a lot.
Wow.
So that's what we get to do. Maybe not at that scale, but that's what we do every day.
Wow.
We make magic happen, kind of.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
Caleb, I so appreciate you stepping up
thanks,
to the
man.
line.
Yeah.
And, lifting the view of the trades, the men and women who do the work, sharing with us what you guys are doing and communicating the value. I mean, I love your culture. I love how you talk about your team and what you guys are doing. I think probably one of the hardest things that I see with what you're doing is, and this maybe is helpful for you as a person and a team, in technology, you're constantly having to learn all over again. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of that, it's a good thing for us to have, is recognize that being able to constantly be learning new things is not a bad thing.
Yeah, no.
So,
and definitely getting away from the just technology thing. I mean, it's really the electrical and lighting that is the driving force behind this. The tech is just the backbone to make all that work.
That's awesome.
It's really cool stuff. So
that's awesome.
Thanks for letting me be a guest on here.
It was great.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it,
man.